Hey everyone, hope you're doing great. Welcome to the in-depth review of the OnePlus 15's camera performance. Now I recommend you guys to watch the full video as there is a lot to cover. For the impatient ones, here is the TLDR. If you were afraid that because of the downgrade in camera sensors and lenses across the board, the camera performance of the OnePlus 15 will be very bad, then you will be pleasantly surprised. The image quality out of the OnePlus 15 is still very good. I have used several flagship phones throughout the year, used third-party apps like Gcam Mod and whatnot, so I have a great idea about it. The OnePlus 15's photographic capabilities will not disappoint you. This is still much better than what you will find with base Galaxy S series at least. This is one of the best image processing on a smartphone, perfectly skirting the line between great computational photography and avoiding overprocessing and oversharpening. That said, I am sad thinking about what the OnePlus 15 could have been if it at least kept the same hardware as the OnePlus 12 instead of downgrading. So in this video, I'll be reviewing the OnePlus 15's camera performance against the 2 generation older OnePlus 12 for context. Once again, I make non-sponsored content. I purchased the OnePlus 15 with my own money, so please consider supporting the channel by hitting the subscribe button and also consider donating whatever you wish to the payment address given in the description. With that said, let's start the video. Okay, first let's compare the hardware differences which you will definitely feel when shooting RAW. Comparing raw DNG file between the two devices at 1000 ISO, the ultrawide shows the biggest difference. The OnePlus 12's ultrawide RAW is much less noisy compared to the OnePlus 15. The difference is much lesser when comparing the main sensors. It's touch and go really. I would say the OnePlus 12 has the slightest advantage. For the telephoto, I can't really compare fairly because the OnePlus 12's RAW photos aren't interpreted correctly by Lightroom and the 15's RAW photos look too good, like some kind of baked in image processing has been applied. Just look how clinically sharp they are. I reckon if you are using apps like Motion Cam Pro for RAW video and other apps that allow you to disable noise reduction, the OnePlus 12 will have the advantage, particularly for RAW video using the ultrawide. Okay, next let's compare what's new with the OnePlus 15 compared to the OnePlus 12 and 13. So the first major difference is this new high resolution mode on the OnePlus 15, which deploys some kind of multi-frame stacking upscaling algorithm during normal daylight, and this genuinely makes a big difference as I will demonstrate in a moment. Note this high-res mode is very different from the dedicated high-res mode that is available on both devices. That one is kind of useless in my opinion. Next you got adaptive frame rate, which I believe switches between 24 and 30 FPS for 30 FPS video and 50 FPS and 60 FPS for 60 FPS video. Regardless, I just keep it off. The more important addition is the ability to switch to a quote-unquote high bitrate for video. I have set it to high bitrate all the time. Notice it says this supports video recording in both normal and in pro video mode. But as far as I know, Oxygen OS doesn't have a real pro video mode, right? So I swiped over to the more section and to my surprise, finally, OnePlus has added a real pro video mode replacing the useless film mode. In the pro video mode, you get option to shoot at 24 FPS all the way to 120 FPS. You also can shoot in log with all the 3 lenses. That being said, this pro video mode is still useless to me because even in pro video mode there is baked in noise reduction which cannot be disabled like you can do with iQOO, Vivo, Samsung's pro video mode. So if you really want to shoot serious videos, please use third-party camera apps like Blackmagic Camera app or MC Pro 24 FPS or Motion Cam Pro. Here is a couple of samples for portrait video on the OnePlus 15. I feel it's quite good during the day with a very soft looking bokeh. Let's continue with video. The OnePlus 15 can do 4K 120 FPS video with the main sensor in log. The quality is fine. There is quite a bit of shadow noise, probably because the noise reduction at 120 FPS is less aggressive, but that's actually fine. I actually prefer having noise in the video than having smeary detail. Switching to 4K 30, which is what I'm gonna focus on in this video, the details are actually worse somehow. It's because there is more noise reduction applied, but why more noise reduction? Maybe the reason is in auto exposure in pro video mode, the phone opts for a very high IS with fast shutter speed. It's very strange because it's bright daylight, the phone should automatically go for base 50 ISO and then choose a suitable shutter speed. Here is the detailed difference between auto exposure and manually choosing base 50 ISO. To be honest, I don't see much of a difference, so I don't know what the hell kind of processing is going on in the background. I don't understand why OEMs apply all these processing in Pro Video mode. Pro Video mode should be devoid of any processing. Another thing is, where is the official OnePlus Log to Rec 709 LUT? How am I supposed to grade the footage without any official LUT? Am I supposed to just eyeball the grade? Please let me know in the comments about this. When it comes to normal 4K 30fps video in almost late evening lighting condition, I feel the ultra wide camera on the OnePlus 12 records a lot more detail compared to the OnePlus 15, and is also a wider focal length. The OnePlus 15 does capture more dynamic range though. Moving on to the main sensor, the gap is very small. I still notice the OnePlus 12 pack just a smidge more detail than the OnePlus 15. Also notice the wider frame on the OnePlus 12. Finally, the telephoto sensor. Once again, I noticed the OnePlus 12 is capturing more detail and less noise reduction than the OnePlus 15. On the OnePlus 15, there is very visible noise fizzle around moving subjects. During late evening post sunset, the difference is much bigger in favor of the OnePlus 12. There is a shocking difference in low light video between the main sensors of these phones, which I was not expecting. The same holds true for the ultra wide sensors. I mean, OnePlus 12 isn't anything special in these conditions, and I know these are very challenging conditions, but the OnePlus 15 looks very poor by comparison. The difference is much less when comparing the telephoto, but still the OnePlus 12 is ever so slightly more detailed and cleaner looking. Software tricks can't quite fill the gap in pure hardware advantage on the OnePlus 12 for video recording, that's for sure. And here is also a quick selfie video comparison. Honestly, the lighting was too low for good selfie video at this point. Okay, finally let's move on to photos, and here the situation is actually pretty simple. During the daytime, the biggest strength of the OnePlus 15 is the amazing auto high resolution mode that works with all the sensors. It's an actual game changer. If we compare the standard resolution images with the high res images, you can clearly see the difference, and it's a substantial difference as well. The high res images look very clean and natural with less sharpening. Now the OnePlus 12 doesn't have this mode, and I don't think OnePlus will provide this to OnePlus 12 and 13, else it will be like game over for the OnePlus 15. Here is a comparison in terms of detail between the OnePlus 12 and OnePlus 15 in standard and high resolution modes. This is a big strength of the OnePlus 15. So for the rest of the comparison, I have kept the high res mode activated because why not? So for the main camera in daylight, OnePlus 15 takes the win. The images not only pack more detail due to the new high-res mode, but also the white balance is much more accurate. Yes, it's more saturated, but it is still more accurate than the OnePlus 12's cool white balance and desaturated colors. OnePlus 12 isn't bad by any means. In fact, you will find it to be better than the Galaxy S series, but it simply doesn't have the high-res magic of the OnePlus 15. The larger sensor and aperture on the OnePlus 12 does mean more natural bokeh though. Next up is the ultra wide camera, and it's the same story. The high res mode gives the OnePlus 15 a huge advantage in terms of detail retention. Only advantage of the OnePlus 12 is that it captures a wider field of view. Finally, the telephoto. Okay, before I show the samples, I wanted to talk about a couple of observations. First of all, the OnePlus 12 can focus much closer and allow you to take these nice looking close-ups with a shallow depth of field. Second is a bug that I noticed on the OnePlus 15. So when you want to shoot something close up with the telephoto, the autofocus quickly locks on the subject as seen in the viewfinder, but as soon as you click the shutter button, the focus shifts and the photo ends up being out of focus. So I have to tap to focus in these situations and then take the photo as a workaround. However, despite this, I find OnePlus 15's telephoto autofocus performance is much better than the OnePlus 12's. Taking a look at actual image quality again, I would say the high-res mode gives the OnePlus 15 a good advantage. I have a ton of telephoto samples because I use the short telephoto a lot on every phone, so take a look. Now before moving on to the nighttime comparison, let's quickly compare the portrait mode and selfies. So for portrait mode, there is very little difference between the two. I would actually call it a draw. Whether it's indoors or outdoors, or it's with the main or telephoto, or it's the daytime or nighttime, the performance is too close to call. So it's a tie, at least in my experience. To be honest, OnePlus continues to provide some of the best portrait mode quality among all brands. For selfies, I didn't take many, but the OnePlus 15 with autofocus has a slight advantage. Okay, finally moving on to low light, and here OnePlus's high resolution mode does not work, which evens the playing field. But OnePlus has another trick up its sleeve. Basically at night, the OnePlus 15 deploys the night mode way more frequently than the OnePlus 12, and it also deploys longer night mode than the OnePlus 12. If OnePlus 12 doesn't deploy the night mode, the 15 will. If the OnePlus 12 deploys a 1 second night mode, then the 15 will do a 2 second night mode. So this way, basically the OnePlus 15 is able to bridge the gap with the OnePlus 12 despite having weaker hardware. All the three lenses, main, ultrawide and telephoto, it keeps going back and forth. Sometimes the OnePlus 12 captures more details, other times it's the OnePlus 15. I have a lot of samples, check it out. I will call the night category a tie, to be honest. Alright guys, that's it for the camera review of the OnePlus 15. I must say, at least for photos, the OnePlus 15 produces the best image quality out of these purely mid-range camera sensors. The software processing deployed by OnePlus in the OnePlus 15 is god tier. It just makes me sad thinking what could have been the case if OnePlus didn't downgrade the hardware. Anyways, it is what it is. In my opinion, this is not gonna disappoint most buyers unless they wired their brains with preconceived notion that the photos will be bad. But anyways, the photos are like really good. I don't think most people will actually complain. Alright guys, let me know your thoughts down below. Make sure to like, share and subscribe. Take care and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.